This podcast is part of BritPod Scene, an independent network of uniquely British podcasts that's always growing. Check out BritPodScene.com or BritPodScene on Twitter to find out more.
The RAD Live podcast is intended for mature audiences and contains explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome to the latest edition of the RAD Live podcast, Random Ass Discussion. I'm your host, Paul the Hat Guy Flinders, and tonight I'm joined by nobody. It's been one of those things. We're all busy this week, and we've all got some, got later appearances by Darren and by Alan. They've done their own little shit, so we'll see how it goes. Yes, it's my first time hosting a solo show, as you can tell. Struggled to start off with an intro straight away. Been very busy recently, which is why, this is the first show in like 6 weeks. Been busy doing the shows with Coxie, who's obviously not on the show tonight. Busy. We all have lives. But yeah, we may as well go straight into it with the random discussion, or the random chat with myself. In any other situation, I'll be getting sectioned. So yes, I'm obviously your host again, Paul the Hat Guy Flinders, doing a solo part. Everyone else has done I say everyone else. Alan's done a bit. Darren's done a bit. You'll hear their bits a bit later. We've got a good, about 20 minutes from Darren, about 10 minutes from Alan. So it was a good half hour of content there, just off those. And you'll have myself for however long I can spout on my own. And I'm going to get into a bit of conversation now, a bit of talking, talk about something that I've not really had chance to be able to talk about in this show, because, we've discussed on this show that I'm a bit of a petrol head, a bit of a motorsport fan. And 9 times out of 10 I try to bring up a bit of motorsport, and really it's not fair on the other guys who don't enjoy motorsport. Likes of Coxie and whatever, you don't give a flying fuck about it. It's one of those. I could speak for hours on end with Xander. He's as much as a petrol head as me. I'm the worst kind of petrol head. I can't drive. But yeah, this weekend just gone was the start of the Formula 1 season, the start of the motorsport season in a way. Everything seems to start up this time of year. You've got the touring cars, which are starting soon. You've had the Formula 1. Formula E goes on over winter, which is great if you're a motorsport fan. And yes, it is motorsport, even if it doesn't have the noise. We've got the WEC, which is happening in about 2 months' time, which is a bit strange because they're doing a super season. So they're doing like 1.5 seasons, which counts towards one season, and then they're going back to normal, starting Le Mans and ending at Le Mans. But yeah, Australia Grand Prix this weekend, and yeah, there's been a little bit of controversy when it comes to Formula 1 this season. Obviously, we've had a lot of changes with the cars. I mean, first things first is the big fucking flip-flop that's in front of the drivers' heads now, called the Halo. Now, a lot of people seem to think, oh, the Halo, it looks ugly. Yes, it doesn't look great. But, pardon me, I don't think it looks that bad. It's a case of getting used to it. Now, it does take a certain aspects away from the motorsport. For example, basically helmet designs are useless nowadays because you can't tell which driver is which behind the car, just by looking at the helmet like you used to be able to. You used to have the Damon Hill's black helmet with the white stripes on it. Michael Schumacher's was distinctive. David Coulthard's with the Solitaire on it. Designs like that, you could tell instantly who it was. Nowadays, not that it really matters because drivers tend to change their helmets every year now anyway. In the case of Vettel, it used to be every race. You can't see the driver now 9 times out of 10 behind the halo. So that's an issue. That is a massive issue for me. I mean, I enjoy looking at new liveries. I'm the type of person that looks forward to looking at liveries, what the cars are going to look like each year, how they're going to change, what new sponsors have these F1 teams got this year. I'm a massive fan of the website f1colours.com. They basically review the liveries every year, basically, and give their opinions on them, basically. It's a lot of fun. They have livery histories of F1 teams as well. Obviously, they've covered F1 teams for a long time. They've got in-depth knowledge, and they've covered the livery every year. So, they can do a livery history, which is a lot of fun to read, especially if you're into your motorsport like I am. Now, back to the Halo. The issue is with a lot of the cars is it sticks out like a sore thumb because they've basically left it the carbon fibre colour, which is basically black. And it sticks out like a sore thumb on certain cars. Some teams have actually coloured it the same colour as the car, like Ferrari, which does look a lot better. But it still sticks up like a sore thumb, and it still blocks the viewer's view, in a way, of the driver in the car. So you can't see the driver attacking as much behind the wheel as you used to be able to, say, from trackside or something like that. And you can't tell as easily, especially on camera, which driver it is, obviously, because the halo is blocking it. So, one of my thoughts is maybe paint the colour in the driver's helmet's colours. So the halo is the same colour as the helmet of the driver. That way you will know instantly who the driver is. A lot of people are missing a trick here. It's a good place to put the number of the driver, the name of the driver even, because there's enough space on that halo to put the driver's name there. I mean, there's plenty of space. You could put the word Hamilton right across the front of the fucking thing, and it would help people figure out who the driver is. Instead, we'll just get this big fucking black flip-flop in front of people's faces, basically obscuring the view of the driver. And speaking of obscuring views, this is where I'm actually going to be a bit indifferent about the Halo. It's because a lot of people's criticism of the Halo is it's right in front of the driver's face, so how the hell are they going to be able to see where they're going? Now, if you're listening to this, do this little test for me. Get your finger in front of your face and hold it about 6 inches away from your face and look past it. Focus past your finger, but keep your finger in front of your face. And what you'll notice is that you'll basically see straight through your finger. So this is what happens with the Halo, which is why it has the one single strut going down the middle. Because essentially, when the driver's there and you're concentrating, 200, 300 yards down the road, you're not going to be able to see this Halo. You're going to be focusing ahead. Your eyes are going to see past it. So for me, obviously, the argument that the drivers can't see because of the Halo being in the way is completely asinine and completely pointless, because there's actual science there that says, well, no, it's not actually going to be in the way. And it does seem a bit strange. Obviously, if something's in your line of sight, it's going to be in your way. But in this case, it's very clever, and it really doesn't obscure. As for the safety side of things, I think it's over-engineered. I mean, obviously, you're going to stop wheels getting in the car and things like that, but the wheels are on a fucking tether nowadays, so the likelihood of a wheel flying off is very, very remote now anyway. I mean, look at the accident Valtteri Bottas had in qualifying, where he basically smashed the whole back end of the car up, and the wheels stayed on the car. So they basically designed a safety device for some event that, in reality, if the parts do their job right, shouldn't happen. As for small parts, it's not going to stop that, because it's basically just it's just a carbon fibre bar that goes around the driver's head, hence the name Halo. And there was an incident in 2009 with what's his name? Massa. And he was following Rubens Barrichello in the Brawn. And part of the suspension springs, or something on the suspension, one of the springs, flew off out the back of Barrichello's car and hit Massa in the face, smashed his helmet and nearly killed him. Now, the Halo would not have stopped that. There's also the argument that the angle which the Halo is, if there is debris and it's flying up at a certain angle, is there a possibility that it could be ricocheted into the cockpit and actually hitting the driver that way, whereas otherwise it would have missed the driver completely and either hit the engine cover or completely missed the car altogether. So there is that argument as well. Personally, I think it creates a few more problems as well. Well, there was one issue in testing where Pierre Gasly ripped his race suit. Now, obviously, if you go into a race and you don't realise you've ripped your race suit, which is supposed to be fireproof, might I add, and you have an accident and you're on fire, that suit ain't going to do its fucking job. So there is that issue as well. Plus, nobody's been upside down in one of these cars yet. Is that going to stop people getting out the car? Is it going to help them? We don't know. Perhaps maybe they should have put an F1 car up on its roof and put someone in there to see if they can get out in a controlled environment, to see if that could work. Possibly they could have done that. Maybe they have. But I can see it being an issue, especially if it digs into a gravel trap. Luckily, Australia's an old school. Not Adelaide, that's even more old school. Melbourne, it's even more like old school sort of racetrack, where they do have gravel traps on the outside of some corners. And yeah, that could have been an issue if cars did go upside down into a gravel trap, and if it dug in, they might not have been able to get out. So, yeah, I'm indifferent on the Halo. As an aesthetic sort of thing, I'm not too fussed about it. It's not the best looking thing in the world. I'd rather it not be there. You get used to it though very quickly. I'll be honest with you. You do get used to it very, very quickly. I just don't see why it's there, if I'm brutally honest. Yeah, talking of controversies on Formula One, Grid Girls got banned the start of this year. We have no Grid Girls anymore. This was down to, I'm assuming, sort of PC sort of social justice warriors kicking up a stink. It's. I'll be honest with you. These girls were. It was like a lot of people were saying these girls. It was taking advantage of these girls. It was. What's the word I'm looking for? It was very derogatory to female fans. What people need to realise is these girls were doing this job voluntarily. They got into the world of modelling to basically they got their job for how they look, and they're making a living off it. Now, I don't see the problem with that. I mean, they've made that choice. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. That's up to them. No one's making them go, right, no one's poking them with a stick and say, right, you get in front of that fucking car and you stand there and smile for the camera. If you don't, I'm going to beat you to death. No one's doing that. What they're actually doing is paying these women a lot of money because they have a talent. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people obviously do that, or, have the looks, but they're doing something that a lot of people that they want to do, and they're getting paid a lot of money to do that. Now they don't have that work. Obviously, they're probably not going to be short for it, probably, but it's a wage gone. You don't say it's not fair about people who are not naturally good at football, and say, oh well, it's a talent they've got. Yeah, the fact that they were born and looking a certain way is a talent of a sort. Not everyone's born to be great at football, but some are. Some are born to be great at rugby because they have the build. Some aren't. It's just the way life is. And if they're using their talent, in air quotation, to earn a living, well, that talent being their looks, then so for me, fair play to them. I just think it's a bit too PC. Now, what they've now done is instead of having grid girls, they now have grid kids. And I thought to myself, when I first heard this, I thought, this is fucking fantastic. It's a good idea to get, if it's kids coming in, if it's just the general public coming in, it gets them close to their heroes. They can have autographs to spend the day in the garage, with a said team, whatever they're standing in front of. It could be a great day out for them. And then I found out it was kids from Junior Formula. And then I completely poo-pooed on the idea. Because it's basically elite kids, daddy's paying their way, and, they're going to get there anyway at some point. They could pay for it to go into the garage and spend the day there. They could, spend the money and do that. No. Give it to people that are coming into the ground. They have a lottery for the children that are coming in, for example. They've got tickets. Say, be drawn and have, for a prize entry. You get your ticket, and 20 children at random are going to be drawn out of a hat, and they're going to be able to have the opportunity to be grid kids and stand in front of their heroes on the grid and have a tour of the garages and stuff. That would be a great idea, but no, it's basically kids from junior formula that go, oh, okay. It's fucking stupid. I don't like it. I think it should be for, it's an opportunity there for the general public's children and to meet their heroes. But it's not the way, and I don't like it. It's just not for me. For the sake of it, just bring Grid Girls back. Just, what's ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, going on to the race itself, I'm glad I didn't wake up early for it. I caught it on catch up. Somehow managed to avoid spoilers for it, so I enjoyed the race as it was. And yeah, it's one of them. It was very dull, if I'm brutally honest. All the action seemed to happen in the first half of the race. You had cars falling out left, right and centre. You had the debacle that was the Haas F1 team, where they couldn't seem to put a wheel on the car properly. They came for the pit stop, they were flying high. They were doing well, they had a really quick pace. They were up there in 5th and 6th place. I think that's the highest they've ever run in their history. And then they come for a pit lane, and the left side seemed to fuck up. First car was Magnussen. His left rear didn't get put on properly. And then Roman Grosjean, the guy that ran into me in the Silverstone pit lane on his push bike. His car broke down because the front left wasn't put on properly. So, yeah, massive fines coming for them because you get fined and a penalty if your wheels aren't put on properly. So, both cars, yeah, that's going to cost a fair bit. Which changed the race, and there's a bit of controversy about how Vettel got in front of Hamilton. That's basically using the situation to your advantage. I have no issue with that, even though I do not like Vettel. He used the advantage, he took advantage of it. Hamilton had already pitted. Sucks to be Hamilton, I'm afraid. Speaking of which, basically, after that point, we had the status quo. That was pretty mediocre from that point onwards. What I do not like was this new rule that they brought in, where you've got 20 Grand Prix this season. 20. You're only allowed to use 3 engines for the entire year. After that, you get penalties. Which means now you're going to have people that are thinking, right, well, we're going to back off now and better save this engine for the next race. No! Fuck that noise. This rule ruined a race. Absolutely destroyed it. Because what happened was Vettel was homing in, was getting homed in on by Hamilton. And he had a certain amount of time to get through, to get past. And we could have had an absolute barnstormer of a finish. Absolute barnstormer. Hamilton was catching Vettel. And we could have had like an epic battle for the last 10 laps. Except Hamilton gave up with 5 laps to go. What kind of spectacle is that? I'm going to save my engine for the next race. Now, I get, in a way, this is a way where you can turn around and say, well, it's part of the sport now, so it's sort of managing your engines. But it shouldn't be about that. This stole from the show. This could have had a great ending. This could have had an epic battle at the end of the race between Vettel and Hamilton. But because Vettel had to switch his engine right down and almost got caught up by Raikkonen, he was that slow, it ruined the end of the race for me, and it took away any spectacle. It just left a sour taste in the mouth. But I remember when I got into the sport, drivers were driving the balls to the wall for 70-odd laps, pushing it like crazy. No fuel stops, just tyres. Flying round the likes of Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, John Lacey, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, David Coulthard, Mika Hakkinen. The list goes on and on and on. I feel sorry for children trying to get into the sport now, because they're not going to have these epic battles at the end of races, because drivers are thinking, oh shit, I've only got 3 engines to last the entire season, I better switch my fucking engine down, otherwise I'm going to blow up in the next race, or my 2 races, or 3 races time. It's not good for the sport. It really isn't. What they need to do is get some more energy efficient engines and let them go nuts. Let them use as many engines as they want. Or at least let them use more. Because 3 engines is not... Basically, you've got to make your engine last 7 races. 7. Back in the day, they were lucky if they lasted 7 miles. Yes, I get it. So obviously about cost cutting and it's not good for the environment. But at the same time, if you get these more energy efficient engines, it's still promoting, hybrid technology like you've got now. It just adds more spectacle to the sport. The whole spectacle's gone. This is why people are leaving Formula One and going to other modes of motorsport, like touring cars, like GT racing, like I have. I've always watched Le Mans. I've watched Le Mans for the last 15 years. Religiously, I watch the 24 hours of Le Mans. I don't miss it. I even book it off work to make sure I get to watch this race. Only the past 3 or 4 years have I actually watched the actual World Endurance Championships properly. And I am enjoying that more than I am the Formula One, because they can go balls to the wall. There's no restrictions on engines and things like that. Well, there is restrictions on engines, but not about how many you can use. It's silly. And the whole spectacle has just gone from the sport. The whole, magic of the fastest driver will get the checkered flag first. It's gone now. It's the most efficient, obviously, now. Not the quickest. Which in a way is, again, it's a good thing, but it's not what Formula One is. If you want most efficient, you go to endurance racing for that. Formula One is meant to be a sprint. It's not meant to be about endurance and making your bits last. So yeah, that was my little rant on Formula One. Other than that, it's fucking amazing. Motorsport's awesome. But yeah, speaking of things that are awesome, 5-Star Wrestling closed. Fuckers. Honestly, can't say I feel sorry for them. I mean, they obviously they was on the Free Sports channel in the UK. You could get them on Freeview, and you could get them on Sky. I think you can get them some other places as well, but I'm not quite sure where you can get them from. But yeah, they went out of business. Basically, they were trying to go places like the MEN. They were trying to do the Liverpool Echo. Big arenas, that hold 16,000, 17,000 people, and they're only drawing 2 or 3 at tops. And it was just poor. I mean, I watched a few shows on the TV that I recorded, and the crowd were half dead. The wrestling itself wasn't that great. It just wasn't a good product. And the guy, is it Ben Adler? What his name is? Ben Adler? Something like that. The guy's got a really bad reputation. I can't say I've ever met the man. Never dealt with him. Never bought anything off him. Not even tried his shitty video game. But from what I understand, he's a bit of a shithouse. And I couldn't be happier that he's out of fucking business, basically. From what I understand. We want good wrestling. We want good British promotions. Being on TV. And 5-Star was not the right choice, especially when they had Preston City Wrestling or PCW that could have been there. Now, yeah, I don't go to the wrestling anymore. That's my own decision. But the product PCW would have put it would have been a great advertisement for British wrestling for people who were tuning in and watching the show. It would really have been a much better choice, and probably fucking cheaper as well, because Stephen Fludder knows he's not going to put PCW in the Echo Arena and expect it to sell out, because it won't. He wouldn't put it in the MEN and expect it to sell out, because it wouldn't. As much of a draw as British wrestling is nowadays, it's not to the point where it can fill out a fucking huge arena. Even ICW, the ICW have managed to do the Hydro in Glasgow, and they've got a decent draw out of there, but that's probably the only promotion in the UK that could possibly do that. Possibly the exception of Progress. It's Progress and ICW. They're the only 2 promotions that could probably do it. Not 5-Star. Which is basically a glorified all-star wrestling. It's fucking shocking. Well, the type of wrestling you'd get at Butlins and, the holiday camps and things like that. And they expected it to sell out in the Liverpool Echo. Yeah, it's not happening. So, yeah, bye-bye 5-Star. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Other things that have happened recently. I'm just trying to think of my opinion. Yeah, here we go. Ant and Deck. Yes, Ant getting done for drink driving. Now, Obviously, apparently he's got issues. He has problems with alcohol and drugs addictions. He's got a history of it. He's been in rehab. And he's getting a lot of sympathy because of this. Not from fucking me. Reason I say this is because he could have killed some fucker. Now, I work in mental health. And in a way, if you've got a drink problem, you know you have a drink problem. When you have a drink, and it's common sense this, you know not to get behind the wheel. If you've got a problem and you drink, you don't get behind the wheel. Your brain works still. Your brain might think alcohol first, but once you've had this drink, you know you're not going to go and operate some heavy fucking machinery, a potential murder weapon. Because if you were pissed, you know you're not in control. Obviously, if you've got a problem with drink, you don't get behind the wheel of a car because you know if you've been drinking, you're going to get done for a start. If you get breathalyzed, anyway. But I'm not saying it doesn't get done, but it's some of it. If you've got a problem, your brain still works. Your brain still works, and you shouldn't have got behind the wheel of that car. Now, all fair enough. He's got an alcohol problem. He's gone to the pub. Why couldn't he have rang a fucking taxi? Why couldn't he have got the bus? Why couldn't he have got someone else to drive his car for him and get him home? No, he gets inside himself, he smashes 2 cars up and injures a 3-year-old child. But he's getting sympathy. If it was random Joe Bloggs who got behind the wheel of that car and did the same thing he did, he'd be getting fucking slammed and he'd be straight in jail with no remand, no nothing. No Bailey, whatever it is. They'll be inside. It wouldn't even any question. It wouldn't even get any press attention. But because it's Ant, and all these fans are going, oh, leave him alone. He's got a problem. Fuck that problem. 2, who has got a problem? The child that got sent to hospital because she had to go get checked out at A&E because he hit her car. Fucking prick. Yeah, I hope he doesn't ever go on our TV again. And he's lost him, and he's cost his friend as well, Deck, who's done fuck all wrong, Matt, and he's got a child on the way. A £20 million sponsorship with Suzuki because of his fucking drink problem. If I was Deck, I would have nothing else to do with that wanker. I really wouldn't. I'd get friendly with what's her name, that Scarlett Moffat, another fellow Geordie, and start presenting with her. That's what I would do. Fuck that piece of shit, Ant. Prick. But yeah. I'm going to have a bit of a breather now. It's nearly been half an hour for me talking. How about we have some advertisements and then we'll speak. We'll hear from Darren.
Hey, this is Coxie, reminding you to check out the Lost Art of Podcasting. We cover reviews, interviews, listener topics, our own topics. We even take a general look at life and the world around us. So I'll find the Lost Art Podcasting on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, even YouTube and all of the good podcast places.
Hello, this is for...
Can't we say hello at the same time?
Fuck's sake. Hello! This is an advertisement for Master Debaters.
Oh, can we say Master Debaters together as well? Yeah?
Hello! I am Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer.
And we are the Master Debaters.
Oh, we wanted to say that we are the Master Debaters. That's what we want to do.
We're all saying it.
Yeah.
Hello! I'm Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer. And
we are the
Damn it, Sean!
Debaters.
I thought we were just doing...
Hello! I'm Michael.
I'm Sean. I'm Toffer.
We are...
The Master Debaters. You can find us on Twitter @_Master Debaters, SoundCloud, Podbean, and iTunes. Just do yourself a favour and jump aboard this podcast train. Choo choo, motherfucker!
It's a mum.
Hello, Mum.
And a daughter.
Hello, Stacey.
Just telling it like they think they oughta.
I'd love to meet a pirate.
Rough giraffe. Rough giraffe.
Melodic sound of the flute.
They'll make you pee your pants when you laugh.
Wet and maggoty.
Funny chat.
Comedy bronze.
Sketchy facts.
Dog monk.
And advice from a very wonky cat.
Kipper.
Rough Giraffe,
Sometimes sober.
Rough Giraffe
Cheese maggots.
on Podbean and Apple Podcasts.
It's not like they don't know what they're getting.
If you like hilarious chat and poorly researched facts, then Rough Giraffe is for you. You can follow us on Twitter at Rough Giraffe Pod or find us on Facebook. You can download and subscribe to the show on your favourite podcatcher.
Thank you for listening to the RAD podcast. If you really enjoy this podcast, please consider supporting us by going to the RAD Live Facebook page at www.facebook.com/UK RAD Live. You can also find us on Twitter. Our handle is at UK RAD Podcast. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and many other good podcast apps and websites. And while you're supporting us, consider supporting our friends at the Lost Art of Podcasting. You can find them also on Facebook by going to the www.facebook.com/Lost Art of Podcasting. They are also on Twitter and have a handle at Lost Art Podcast. They are also on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and many other good podcast apps. Same also for his spin-off show, The Lost Art of Wrestling. They are also on Facebook at Lost Art Podcast and also on Twitter with their handle at LAOW Podcast. Friends of the show, These People Podcast, great little show. Give them a like, give them a subscribe. You can find them at Facebook at www.facebook.com/These People Podcast. They are also on Twitter at TPPod. They also have a website at www.thesepeoplepodcast.com, and you can find them on Spreaker, iTunes, and many other good apps. Also, while you're at it, Casa Mirth podcast. Cracking show if you don't mind a little bit more of the risque side of things. They are also have a website of their own as well at www.casamirth.com. They are on Twitter at Casamirth and also find them on Facebook. They are also available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all other good pod sort of apps out there. And Mooch TV, friends of the show as well. They are on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Mooch TV. But you can also find them on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Mooch TV. And if you're ever in Blackpool, in the season might add, because it's now closed, you can go to Reflex, the only bar in Blackpool that has 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and noughties music, also accompanied with great food upstairs in the family bar. So if you're in Blackpool and you enjoy, great food, great music and a great time, why don't you consider checking out the Reflex at the Foxhole. Now it's back to the RAD Live podcast. And I'm back. Just very quickly, just to say thank you for, sticking with us first. And, very briefly, well, not very briefly, but very quickly, just a quick message to say, here is Darren, and here is Alan.
Hi there, this is Darren here. Just starting my own solo bit here, really. I don't know what really to say because, I'm not used to doing stuff like this. And plus, I'm full of cold and so you may not be able to hear me that well. So, if you can't, then sorry about that. And I hope these germs aren't contagious. If they are, there you go, you can have some of them. I'm only kidding. Well, just we've not been on Rad Live for a bit. I was just wanting to, say a few things and talk about certain topics that I've got going down. I've got a notebook, and every time I see, a topic or think about a topic, I write it down and go, oh yeah, this is what I think I could talk about. I've got an idea about this, and normally it always happens to me about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to get to sleep, and I'm like, bang, I've got an idea. what is that about, really? I mean, you go to sleep and you're trying to sleep, clear your mind, and everything's clear. And then what happens? You get like a life-defining moment or life-defining dream, or, you know, you go, oh, I know how to sort my life out now, or I know how to sort this out, and you go, oh, sod it, I'll go to sleep. And then the next morning, you forgot it. So you're like, whoa, what do you do? Seriously don't know what to do, and it's really weird. Well, anyway, I'm just here at the moment drinking cough syrup and Lockets, plenty of water, Lucozade. I've had about 4 or 5 monsters today, so I probably won't be sleeping a lot tonight. Probably be going on my PS4, playing a few games. Yeah. And one of the things I'd like to talk about is my gaming. I mean, I love to game. I mean, I really do. I do love the video games and have done for a good few years now. Oh, sorry, guys. I just want to think, what my favourite console I've ever played of all time, what my favourite game was. And so far, I can't. I'm picking up. It may be the N64 purely because they were the ones I like kind of grew up with. That was the first one I ever had on my own, and it wasn't bought for me. And I bought all the games and everything, and it's brilliant. And some of the games for it just amazing. Come on, who does not love GoldenEye or Legend of Zelda? Is it Ocarina? Oceano? Do you know, I can never remember how you say it, but hey, that's one of them. Some really good games for it. And being a good wrestling fan as I am, I enjoy all the wrestling games that are on it. No Mercy is meant to be one of the best wrestling games out there for WWE and all that, but I never really kind of liked it because it was so much. I think it was because it was buggy to start off with. It never saved the game, so you just win the title. Shawn Michaels won the title. And you're like, yeah, won the title. You turn it back on. All your save data's gone. I'm like, so you just spent like 3 hours a day before getting Shawn Michaels the title, and he hasn't got the title now. I was like, oh, bugger. So that just thing really annoyed me. And that was it, really. Sorry about this. If this is a bit, well, I say, random. There's a lot to talk about that I would like to, but, you know, random ass discussion and all. I'd talk about anything and everything if I could. I mean, the other day I was talking about what a coffee and a tea would be together. How you would say that. Would you say toffee? Or would you say cough? We didn't know. Tell you what. Just wanted a big shout out to my dazzlers out there. I know you're listening, Coxie. And yes, I know you hate it. So, sorry. And I do enjoy listening to the lost art of wrestling and the lost art of podcasting. And I hope to see a DVD of your White Collar Wrestling very soon, because I hear that you did brilliant at it, and it's something that I admire a lot of people are doing that for. I mean, I could never do anything like that, but I really admire you for it. So, nice one. Anyway, that's me for now. I will see if I can get any more of these out now. Bye. Hello, this is Darren here, back again for another random chat about anything and everything, I think, from RAD Live. It's crazy. You know what? I just did a quick RAD bite for you all, guys, and I thought, oh, be clever, put a sound effect at the front of it. Left the sound effect, then started talking for the next 10 minutes. Not until I went to listen to it back, you just hear the sound effect. I forgot to turn the freaking mic on. That is crazy. That's what you get for having like a head cold, man flu kind of thing, and just being tired after working 12 hours in a pub. Oh well, that's the life. You live and learn, don't you? That's how you learn stuff, innit, from mistakes. Sorry if you see me sneezing or coughing again. I've got that dreaded man flu. Well, I say man flu, it's just a little head cold, but you know us men, we like to make it up like we've got this really bad thing on us, but we haven't. It's a little cold. I need to go to the shop and get some of those man flu tablets. That'll sort me out, won't it? Loaded, biggest crap ever. But hey, what can we do? I'm really struggling, right, of what to talk about. Because, I mean, I'm into so many things, and I enjoy so many things that I enjoy something so long, and then I talk about maybe computer games, Star Trek, wrestling, TV, swimming, going to the gym, or the local pub, or, you know, friends, family. And I'm just like, well, what shall I talk about? And then I realised I have loads to talk about. I just didn't know how to say it. Which is funny for me. Words come easily to me. Oh wait, isn't that a song lyric? Whoops. What is it about that? You get song lyrics that stick in your head and everyone knows the words to. It's like everyone knows the words to Queen, Rhapsody, or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Honest God, who has not sang Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? You see the lyrics on screen, and next thing you know, you're singing it all out loud. It's crazy. But hey, that's how it is. Born and raised. Yes, I'll let you finish the next lines. I just wanted to talk more about crazy random stuff like combinations, weird combinations that we have for food. It's like, I know some people like bananas in sandwiches. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Ew. No. Yeah, I get told off if I have tomato sauce with my roast dinner, or I have tomato sauce in like a crisp butty sandwich, or, you know, or mayonnaise with something. Craziest food combinations. You can get some really crazy ones. I mean, I've been recently trying to up my spice game, because all you guys on the RAD podcast, they love spices in hot food, and me, I die at hot food. Barbecue sauce for me, after a week or two, my mouth is covered in most ulcers, and I can't talk, or I'm like dead. I'm like, oh, or I'm on the toilet for days. I'm like, ugh. So I was like, why do I put myself through it? Because I didn't enjoy it. So I don't really do it that much. And I just like, ugh, I cannot eat spicy stuff without being ill the next day or that night, so I don't do it. But I know a lot of the guys on RAD podcast, Paul, Alan, Coxie, they all like a bit of spice. The newest spice I like, the only spice I like is they have to be called posh, baby, ginger. But hey, that's everyone in it. Each their own. Everyone's got a different view on the world and how they see it and what they want and what they don't want in food, drink, money, everything, really. But that's how it goes. What I just like to think, festivals like that, spice festivals and everything like that, festivals that I've seen, everyone was doing them. They're really fun to watch. Did I want to get involved? No, because I wanted to watch everyone hurt themselves, laugh at them. The spiciest thing I've ever had was like one of those chili shots. I had 2 of them, and I was dying for days afterwards. Nothing to do with the fact that I had a skinful of alcohol as well as that. I probably made it worse, but hey, what can you do? Well, I'm just writing here to say, what shall I talk about next? And then immediately comes up onto my Facebook, plugs. I'm like, oh, bugger. I hate that word. I hate the word plugs. When it coming about talking about things that you want to talk about, like, for instance, like where to find us on Facebook or Twitter. And I'm like, oh, I can never remember them, and they're dead easy, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, and then I waste time trying to find them, like I am now. Ha 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 ha. That's a crap laugh, I know. And you can find us on the RAD Live Facebook page at UK RAD Podcast, or like Spreaker or any other podcasting app available, which is really a lot these days, isn't it? Podcasting, it's really good. It's really good to put a podcast on while you say playing a computer game or you're on the bus. Kind of listen to it, see what people think about the world and what they think about certain subjects and certain places they like to go or talk about. And that's one of the things I like to say. Think very interactive we've become 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. We didn't have social media, so to speak, or podcasting, or we had the internet, but it wasn't as big as what it is now. I remember it. I remember being at school and having 10 computers, but only one of them had internet, and all you could do is check your email, and you'd be like, well, no one's sending me email, I'm a 16-year-old boy, apart from some Nigerian prince, but he never got back to me when I sent him my bank account details and everything else. He never got back to me, so, I was really upset about that. So if you're out there, Nigerian prince, let me know. My email address is at ukradpodcast.com. It's not really, I'm just kidding. Well, I think that's maybe me wrapping up, seeing what else, since I've bored you for the last 9 minutes and 50-something seconds. If you're still listening, thank you. If you're not listening, will you tell me when you stopped listening so I can do less minutes next time? Only kidding. That's weird sense of humour I get told I have sometimes. Really crazy. Right. Bye for now, lads. And hi, this is Darren here. Just like to say hello. How's everyone doing? Hope they're all well. I hope you're enjoying the first few days of spring and what it may bring. That was a rhyme. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Only do like to say some crazy things somewhere, don't I? Some random things. That's what you get for being on the RAD Live too much. But anyway, I'd just like to say a few things I've been thinking about and what I can think and what I've got written down in my little blue book diary of what I can say. And I'd love to say everything about it, but you know, spoilers. One thing I like to talk about is something that annoyed me the other week. Really, really annoyed me. I won't mention the place, but I was in a shopping centre, supermarket, really famous one, and I had to buy a carrier bag because I didn't have enough room in my bag, so I bought one. 5 minutes, got down the road. 5 minutes in walking down the road, the carrier bag broke. The handle broke, and it suddenly came to me. I was like, bugger! I've just paid 10p, 10p for this carrier bag. What happened? It's faulty. It's not doing its job now. Bloody hell! What do I do? Can I get a refund on that? Do you even get refunds? I mean, it's a product that you buy. What do you do? How do you do it? And it just proper annoyed me. Chuckled me on the way home as well. I was like, well, you know, you bought it. I mean, but you can't use it again because it's got no handles and everything. Oh, well, it just goes in the cupboard with all the other hundreds of carrier bags I've got, or it'd be used as a bin for something. Put rubbish in, crap in, you know what it's like. Talking of crap, it's illegal for dogs and that to crap on the floor. Well, I was walking down the road the other day and I saw some horses, police on these horses, and these police, they crapped on the floor and they didn't pick it up, and I was thinking, wait up, they committed a crime. Isn't that something? You're not meant to do that. That's crazy. Why would you do that? I was just in a real bad, crazy mood. I was just like, what do you do? Especially with all this weather we've been having, this beast from the east, all this crap. Oh no, please go out and buy loads of milk and bread because we need you to buy. Who in the hell mind wants milk and bread in a crisis? They're one of the first things to go off. So why do I buy loads of it? If we're going to need loads of stuff, staying for a while, I want frozen stuff, or I want tinned food. I don't want freaking bread that'll go mouldy in 2 days. What's the point in that? Seriously, I just do not know. I'm just like, how do you work away with that? It just really blows my mind when people are like, milk's gone, the bread's gone, we've got to get more. Well, bugger off. Go and have it. People do go crazy in supermarkets, don't they? They're like, it is pretty much like Supermarket Dash, that quiz TV show in the 90s or 80s. That was crazy. You'd be like, I'll be packing this up first. I can't wait till they get replicators or something like that from Star Trek. Replicate, oh, can I have a cheeseburger, please? Yeah, certainly can. Boof, bang. Can I have a McDonald's, please? Burger King. Ding, yep. Or, if we're Demolition Man, Taco Bell takes over everyone. That's crazy. I'd like to talk a little bit now about a few of the favourite films I'm looking forward to in the next year or so. I think there's 3 of them that, without a doubt, I think, we will all enjoy. Will be, number 1, if you can't not say the Avengers, they are like Avengers Infinity War looks to be one of the best movies coming out this year. And it's only bloody March, April. I mean, and obviously you've had Black Panther that come out. I really enjoyed that. It's a really good movie. But it was a bit strange because it's an origin movie, but it's not actually it's too set in the ways, and it's went along the same formula as most of the others. But I will see it again. We'll enjoy it. Obviously, there's Deadpool 2 coming out soon. I'm going to enjoy watching that because the first Deadpool came out on Valentine's Day a few years ago. Really good movie. That was good to see. Can't wait to see that. And then there's a Star Wars movie coming out of Solo, a Star Wars story. For me, I love Star Wars. The originals, I must have seen them hundreds of times. And I've seen the new ones quite a few times. And the prequels a few times as well. For me, to see the new story with Solo in is good. I will watch it, but I'm just like, is it better to keep a film character that's cool, slow, is really good? Do we really want to see more of him? Do we? Yes or no? I'm not sure. And to last, not least, there's an Aquaman movie coming out as well on DC. You can probably tell the movies I'm wanting to see this year are all superhero movies, and that. It's one of my favourite things to do. I mean, I really enjoy seeing superhero movies. I think, and what else really can you say apart from remakes of remakes or 50 Shades of Grey? Come on, who wants to see that? Or little kid movies or Disney movies? Don't get me started. Anyway, I just like to leave you people. I'll wrap this up now and like to say, if you like to hear more about RAD Podcast, we have a Facebook page. It's at UK RAD Podcast. That's also our Twitter handle, and it's also we're on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com, at user RAD Podcast. That's normally where you find us. I'm normally the guy that goes, yeah, or no, I'm not having this spicy hot thing. I'm not having spicy hot food, peppers. Goodbye.
Good evening and welcome to my part of the podcast. I'm Alan Morrison. I'll be hosting for the next 10 minutes or so. So my little thing is going to be about game reviews and whatnot. So the latest new addition to my gaming, what's the word I'm looking for? Collection is the new Thieves of the Sea. Now, if you don't know what Thieves of the Sea is, it's basically big-ass pirate game. So it's the new exclusive for Microsoft. It's currently out on Xbox One and the PC, sorry, I do apologise. So far, I'll start from the beginning, explaining the game. There is no game. So to understand that, it's basically one big open world. You use no tutorials. You go in straight off the deep end. So the whole point of it is you turn up, get yourself a little crew together, get your boat, go out and do plundering. So you get little like tasks to do, like go and find treasure at such and such island, or go find a skeleton captain and go kill him for another person, or go and deliver so much chickens to a merchant. So it's good fun, but I can see it getting really, really tedious because there's no structure to it. There's no actual storyline, and you are dropped in the middle of it big time. But apart from that, so I've had it for about 4 days now, so it's going quite well. So far, I can see the attraction to it, like so many people's. So yeah, worth getting. Now, my other question is this new trend of gaming that everyone seems to be doing at the moment. So with the likes of, I don't know, PUBG or PUBG, whatever it's called, Fortnite, big open air plans, and you're dropped in the middle of it. There's no leveling up as such. There's no rankings or anything. It's just everyone has the same equipment. Everyone knows what they're doing and what's to carry on playing the game. There's no real rewards for doing anything like that. There's nothing at all that you can strive to. So like a game like, say, Titanfall or Battlefield 1, whereas the aim goal of the multiplayer mode is to level up your character to the highest point you can get on the game, unlock everything, gain all your bits and bobs via that. With the likes of Sea of Thieves, you don't get that. Everyone is equal, everyone's the same. There's no real differential. There's no real differential of how everything is. So, Sea of Thieves, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. This version, it's a very light content. There's not much else you can do at the moment, but there's rumours on the pipeline where they're going to add like quests where they'll last like 2, maybe 3 hours. Rare plunder, so you can pimp out your boat better than you can do. But the con side of that, how expensive everything's going to be. It's like buying items on the game. So the whole point of plundering, of course, is get all your money and splash out on like clothes, haircuts, pimping out your boat with new sails, or sticking on a new flag sort of thing. Now, the bad side of it is not any structure. Now, coming from a generation where we all like to have nice stuff to aim at, storylines to follow, then sit back and say, wow, it's a cracking game, I really enjoyed this bit. Like GTA, for instance, the whole GTA 5 story mode was brilliant. They kind of lead in bit into the multiplayer mode where you get to do certain stuff and all that, but 9 times out of 10 you just want to fart arse around and have fun. That's pretty much Sea of Thieves. It's basically, right, open world, go on, off you go, see you later. Now, a good side of it is you can do what you want, how you want, where you want. So you get the choice of 2 ships. You get a sloop, which is a little fast, nimble ship where you can have a 2-man crew on, or you can get a galleon, which is a 4-man crew. And the whole point of it is you're communicating with your team, you're working together to do your quests and everything like that. Now, for the added funness to the game, which I thought was brilliant, is the part where you can go and raid other ships. So it's not only you on the server, there's loads of other ships. So say if you're coming into dock to sell all your items, you see a galleon part there, and you go, I wonder if they've got anything left in that ship. So you have the choice of raiding the ship, going nicking off all their stuff, or blowing their ship up with cannons. So that's always good fun. A lot of people getting pissed off about it, but at the same time replying back says, you're playing pirates, do you expect anything less? So that's usually the main response everyone gives. Downside to it, if you've just spent 2, maybe 3 hours running around doing all these quests and plundering, and all of a sudden you've gone, yeah, let's go to the outpost, let's go and sell all our gear and get the money and reaping the rewards, and next thing you know, you've got a galleon behind you which is intent at killing you and plundering you, and you kind of feel a bit deflated after it happened, which is really annoying, shall we say, you know. But that's the whole aspect of the game. I have seen on like Facebook groups and Twitter and all that, armadas. Now, the idea is the maximum you can have is 4 people in your crew. Now, if you roll in a gang, with a clan, and you're regular playing with like other people, and there's about 8-9 of you all with the same game, you can team up maybe and work on that, so each one can have a different ship. Now, there is some pretty cool things I've seen. There was one group and another group, completely separate, completely random. They've never met before, joining up together, and they had go to the tavern that's on the islands, visiting the taverns, getting drunk with them, starting a fight, having a laugh like that, then going off doing the plundering together. So they share the bounty equally to each other, which is pretty cool, and it's fun like that. But then you get the people who that's all they want to do is just go and wreck other people's fun, which it can be annoying, but at the same time, you expect nothing less. It's a Pirates game. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll hear if they're doing any more DLCs for the game. And fingers crossed there'll be something out to add to the game, make it more fun, make it more entertaining. Now, I really hope they kind of bring in, as I said before, a story mode to it, because if they don't, it's going to get tedious very, very quickly. You know, I can understand you want to play with your mates and that's what you want to do, but at the same time, you want to have a little bit of a storyline to say, right, okay, I'm a pirate because of this, or there's a quest to go and take on like an NPC, if you know what an NPC is, a non-playable character, as a galleon, and blow it up, have a big, massive sea battle and stuff like that, which would be lovely to see. So fingers crossed they'll be sent on the pipeline. So any other questions, comments, queries about the game, just give us a message on the RAD Facebook page, or messages on Twitter as well. You know, if you find us at RAD Live Twitter, and hopefully we can get one big massive seafaring battle on, and it'll be great fun. So I'll give the rating maybe a 6 out of 10 where possible, making it better if the content's decent enough. So that's me signing off, and I'll see you later.
And we're back. Well, I'm back anyway. Just very quickly before, I thought I'd add a couple of more little tidbits before we go. I just want to talk about video games, basically, because, Darren was talking a lot about video games. Alan gave a video game review. So, I want to talk about possibly probably my 5 favourite games of all time, possibly. One of them is one I'm playing at the minute, is Skyrim. Now, it's a shame for me, because Mateus, if he's listening, he'll probably, he'll understand this, because I've basically told this himself. But when I bought the remaster for the PS4, I said, well, I need to batter this game, because I had the original version for Xbox 360, and I only played the main storyline of it, and then for some reason decided to leave it. Now, I got the PS4 version and started playing it to a point, and then just for some reason left it. Picked it up again recently, I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to play this through again. And I'm going to go through, I'm going to do all these side quests, I'm going to do all this, that and the other. And I'm just basically exploring. And, I'm stealthing round. Basically, I've got an archer build on it. I'm stealthing round. I'm taking stuff out before they even see me. Really enjoying it. I enjoyed exploring in it. I enjoy the combat I find really satisfying in it. Obviously when you can take out a whole room of bandits without even one knowing that you're there. It's really satisfying. Like how you can customise your character in it, the armours, your facial, your weaponry. even your magics and things like that. It's all, you all get to choose and what you want to do. You could each playthrough could be different. You could be, I'm normally when I play the game at this moment, normally I put it aside with the Empire, but this time I'm going to be doing the Stormcloak side of things. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. If you're on my personal Facebook, you might see me post the odd screenshot here and there. So yeah, that's one of the games I really enjoy. Another one is, well, if you know me, one of my personal favourite games of all time is Final Fantasy VII. It's this is the first RPG I actually properly got into. I just love the game. I can't really fault it. I mean, I'm really waiting on bated breath for the remake, and it's not heard a lot of it since early last year. So I'm hoping for some more news on it very soon. But as for the original game, I mean, I think I've done everything in it. Really, I've killed all the weapons. I've mastered all the materials. I've done all that, and I still come back to play it through again every once in a while. I just love the game. So much you can do on it. You lose hours to this game. Absolutely hours. When it first came out on the PS1, games weren't really meant to be that long. The only games that really did go that long was the Final Fantasy franchise. And I'd like to say at that time, that was probably the longest one the longest Final Fantasy that we had. I mean, it was only I'd like to say the fourth Final Fantasy game that the West ever got, because we only got one, and then I think we got two, and then it went straight to Final Fantasy VI in America, and then we got 7 obviously and went from there. Obviously the 3, 4 and 5 came out in time in the West, so we've they're all available now. But with the exception of 10, which is possibly another one of my favourite games of all time, nothing comes close to it when it comes to gameplay, story, things like that. Just don't mention the dialogue in Final Fantasy X. It's fucking atrocious, especially the voice acting. Jesus Christ. Especially the laughing scene at the coastline in Luca between Yuna and Tidus. Fucking hellfire. That scene is infamous. If you don't know what I mean, look it up, go onto YouTube and just look up Tidus Yuna laughing scene and you'll see what I mean. Absolutely fucking atrocious. But the rest of the game was fun. I mean, I absolutely battered the blitzball on that. I was a master at it at one point. I used to play it for hours on end, having Brother in the centre of the pitch, Tidus at striker. Didn't matter who else I had on the pitch, because I just fucking annihilated them. They were the only 2 players I ever needed. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to really say. It was quite linear to a point, and then you get to branch off, which is great. A bit like Final Fantasy XII, but done a lot better. So yeah, I enjoyed those. Now then, it gets a little bit more tricky now. Well, no, it doesn't really. And I'm going to class this I'm going to class this as one big game, sort of like time, like story sort of thing. But the original Mass Effect games, not Andromeda. Andromeda can suck balls. 1, 2, and 3. Absolutely amazing. Now, I used to play an annual free game playthrough, but since I got my PS4, I've not done that. I think I'm due to fire up the Xbox 360 again and do that and play through 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you're listening, I probably will do that. I'll leave it up to the listeners if I can. If you're going to listen, you're going to hear this, and you can give me some, some pointers, some feedback. How would you like me to? If I was going to do a Mass Effect playthrough, how would you like me to play as? Would you like me to play as Paragon, which is basically a good guy helping out people, just being generally a nice guy, just generally a good, wholesome person? Or should I play as a renegade, where you're basically just a complete dickhead, basically? You're just, a complete badass and just, instead of asking people nicely, you pretty much just walk up to people and punch them in the face. You could play it that way. So yeah, you let me know what you think of that. Let me know, and we'll see what we can do. I'd love any excuse to play through Mass Effect again. Through 1, 2, and 3. Just don't mention the ending of Mass Effect 3. Jesus Christ. So yeah, what do I like about that game? Well, I know you can have you've got your what's the word? I've completely forgotten it. Your biotics and things like that. You could use the biotics, but I never do. I always just play as a straight-up soldier and play it as an over-the-shoulder, third-person shooter. And that's just the way I like playing it. I mean, online, I used to play Mass Effect 3 with friends. Xander will testify to this. I used to play with biotics, and things like that every now and again. But in the story mode, I'd always play as just a soldier, just straight up play it as an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. And I enjoyed that. That's the way I used to play it, and I enjoyed it. At the end of the day, you can play as biotic, you can play as an engineer, things like that. It was a good fun game, however you approached it. And it was one of them games, again, like I say, with a hell of a lot of customization. You can customize your combat suit, your weapon loadout, even your looks, things like that. So, yeah, it was a good game. Now, is there any other games that I like, that I really, really enjoy playing? Saying what are my favourite games of all time. A bit of a strange one, but ISS 64. I've mentioned this on Facebook a few times. It's so shit, it's good. It's one of those games. It was a very, very early sort of launch title almost for the N64, and I don't think I've really played a football game which played as good as that since, just how sheer fun it was. I mean, there's not many games where you can just get your defender and just shoot from the halfway line and get the top corner screamer it. There's not many games you can do that. So, yeah, I enjoyed that game. I don't know why. It was the commentary as well, had a bit of a charm to it. Especially when you're playing Wales or playing as Wales. When you get the... obviously, you got the lines that have been pre-recorded, and then obviously they say the country in the gap that they leave and carry on. So, one of the ones that I remember is when the keeper makes a save for Wales, it's only the keeper is keeping Wales in the game. And it always makes me laugh every time I hear that. Don't know why. I don't know. It's just, I found it absolutely, there was some charm to that commentary, and I just loved the gameplay. Any more video games that I really enjoy playing? I'll tell you one game that I played and really enjoyed, and not many people seem to know it, was a Tokyo Extreme Racer on the Dreamcast. That was, I don't know, basically the setup was, it was a street racer on the not Tesco, fucking hell. On the, that'll be a different game, wouldn't it? The Tesco car park. Just doing donuts and annoying pensioners. On Tokyo's ring road, I believe. It was like a big motorway sort of thing. And what you do is you drive up and down this motorway. You can drive in both directions. And you basically go up behind these other street racers and flash your headlights. And that way you challenge them to a race. And it was more like in a weird way, it was more like a beat 'em up than a race. Because when you get ahead of them, you had like a HP bar. And you had to get in front of your rival, which was what, the guy you were racing against. And you had to get away from the guy. And the further you are away from the person you're racing against, the more their HP bar would go down. So say, for example, if they were 10 metres behind you, their bar would probably go down, say, for example, 10 points per second. But if you were 100 metres ahead of it, you'll be 100 points per second. So the further in front you were, the more points you got. But the game had a lot of rubber banding, so you could be miles ahead of 1 minute. And next thing you know, they're flying past you for no apparent reason. So it was a bit bullshit in places, but the game overall was great. Again, it was more like, you had a lot of customization. You had your paint, you could paint your car, you had you could have a full garage of cars. Bit, it was basically Need for Speed Underground before Need for Speed Underground became a thing. And it was good. It was a good game. It was fun. And they released a couple of sequels on the PS2. I've got one upstairs where they incorporated a bit more of the motorway, like toll roads and things like that. And that was fun as well. I enjoyed that. So, if you can find it on the cheap, either on Dreamcast or PS2, Tokyo Extreme Racer, it's a good game. And play it. And another game I will mention that I really enjoyed was, I know this is more than 5, but oh well, was the first game that I ever played on PS1, was Ridge Racer. Now, it's the third game in the Ridge Racer trilogy. Well, not trilogy, but the Ridge Racer series at the time. Because you had Ridge Racer. Oh no, it would have been the fourth one, really, when you think about it, if you include the arcade. Because you had Ridge Racer, Revolution, Rave Racer, and Rage Racer. And I remember sinking hour after hour after hour after hour after hour playing this game, and I never, ever, ever, ever completed Class 6. Even to this day, I have never completed Class 6. So it's possibly something I may need to do at some point. It's, it's unfinished business and all that shit. And the final game I will mention, because I've got to mention it, was the game that caused me and Xander to bump together, almost literally, was Forza 2. God, how many nights did I play on that game? Jesus Christ. I think we're talking 2008 now, 2009. Forza 2 was out. I was playing in my bedroom, and I'd just go on an online race, just randomly go on it, And I ended up going, oh look, oval racing, let's just give that a whirl. And I remember doing this, all we ever did was oval racing. All night, oval racing. 10 laps or whatever it was. And the first race I thought, I got this car, it's quick, it was alright, it's got a lot of horsepower, this, that and the other. Wasn't tuned to shit or anything like that. Had loads of acceleration, you could, shit off a shovel off the line, but, And everyone else has got their car tuned up for oval racing, which means they've got the gears long, which means they don't accelerate that quick, whereas mine was just bog standard gearing. I never fucked around with the setups and things like that. And next thing, I'm starting in third place, so I'm behind pole. And I put my foot down, not realising, and bang, straight into the back of the guy in front. Get a load of verbal and a load of vitriol. It's Xander. Like, what the fucking hell are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise, I didn't mean to hit you, this, that and the other. And we got talking. I was like, oh, right, fair enough then. And next thing you know, I got talking to him and we was oval racing for the next God knows how long. And that's how long me and Xander have been talking. And I've never met the man. Not once. Never met him. 10 years I've known the man. Not met him once. So, it's one of those. But yeah, those are some of my, the games that I enjoy the most out of, that I've really enjoyed. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to go on. The season started in Blackpool. That means basically we can't walk down the promenade. We can't walk down the back streets because holidaymakers seem it's a good idea to walk, side by side down the corridor, down the pavements, side by side, taking up the whole pavement. Yeah, I'll just walk in the road and get run over by the 14 bus, thank you very much. Bastards. Now, to be fair, this town would be dead without tourism. It'd just be nothing. I mean, you've got touristy places up round here. You've got Southport, you've got Morecambe, but they're deader than fucking Dillinger, aren't they, really? Especially Morecambe. It's not nice. I mean, I've been there. It's what Blackpool's going to be like in a few years if shit doesn't turn around. Especially with the trains now. Obviously, the train stations have been delayed. We're supposed to be getting all these, electric trains coming in and the Virgin trains coming in. And they've been upgrading the lines. We've had no trains from Blackpool to Preston since November. We've had these replacement buses, which are fucking miserable. And they delayed it for 3 weeks. Right over Easter, one of the busiest times of the year for Blackpool. Well done, North West Rail. Fucking idiots. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's fucked a lot of, it's going to fuck a lot of people over when it comes to people coming to Blackpool because we've got one of the biggest. In fact, I think we have the biggest car park in Europe. It stretches from basically South Pier to North Pier, effectively. If you look on Google Maps or Google Earth, you'll see it pretty much. It's massive. Goes right past the football club and everything. It's humongous, but. Yeah, it's not good. We've got one train like station that's working, Blackpool South, but it's only one platform, and it's not really going to handle the volume of holidaymakers that come in. I mean, you obviously get holidaymakers coming in via coach, which they always have done, but you also get a hell of a lot coming in from trains, coming from Yorkshire and up north and things like that. Places a bit closer to home, where you can just jump on a train, like day trippers from Liverpool and Manchester and places like that. And you're not going to easily get that now, especially when you don't get a train straight into the heart of Blackpool. Because let's face it, Blackpool South, yeah, it's handy, it's still going. You can get to the pleasure beach from there. But if you want to get to anywhere else in town, you're going to have to get off at South Shore and wonder where the fuck you are before your bags are nicked. It's not good. And I honestly think North West Rail have let the town down in a way. What else they're doing with Blackpool North is another reason why there's possibly maybe a bit delayed. Possibly not. There might be in the next year when they link it up. Is the tower? Obviously the tramway is getting built up Talbot Road. They've just exposed the road, and the tracks are old tracks are still down there. So it's a lot of destruction in Blackpool at the minute. It's not a good time because you would have thought that all this work would be done over winter when the town's dead, but no, they ripped the town up in the middle of the just at the start of the fucking season where a lot of businesses make their money. And people just can't get to them, or can't be asked getting round them, or just go somewhere else. It's not good. Soon, obviously, around where I live right slap bang in the middle of the touristy bit. It's going to be rammed very soon. I live more. If I was walking, I'm less than 3 or 4 minutes away from the seafront, basically. If there was a tidal wave, we're fucked, basically. But it's gonna be busy. Traffic. It's not gonna be fun as a Blackpool resident. As Blackpool residents will tell you, fuck tourists. They bring us money, but fuck them. But on that note, I think we're going to end it here. Thank you for listening. It's obviously this has been my first solo show. Just let me know how I've done. A bit of feedback would be fantastic. Obviously, we're doing a pubcast next week. Look out for that. That'll be out possibly Thursday or Friday. It's going to be an RAD live / not a start of podcasting special. It's going to be a lost art of wrestling special with Coxie and the debuting James Bunkle, otherwise known as the Mailman. It's going to be a blast, and I have a little nice surprise for the guys that I'll be bringing with me. Something a little bit malty, shall we say. On that note, I'll leave you with the plugs. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/UKRAD podcast. You can find us on Twitter at UKRAD podcast. We are on Stitcher, iTunes, Spreaker, and all of YouTube. Don't forget YouTube. And all other good places where you can find podcasts. If you have any suggestions or topics that you want to send to us, you can either leave them on the Facebook page or you can email them us to ukradpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to obviously catch our friends at the Lost Art of Podcasting. Find them on Facebook, on facebook.com/Lost Art of Podcasting. And they are on Twitter at LAOP. There you go. Hope I didn't fuck that up, Coxie. So yeah. Hope you've enjoyed the show. It's me, THG, Paul the Hat Guy Flinders, signing off. Thank you, and good night.
Take a walk down by the sea, picking up colored shells in the sand. Seagull, I watch your wings, silver circus in a cloudy land. Even when the winds blow lonely, when lightning cracks the black sky's face, seagull, I can hear you calling through time and space. I want to know how it makes you feel, and what your restless wings can't find.
This podcast is part of Brit Pod Scene, an independent network of uniquely British podcasts that's always growing. Check out BritPodScene.com or BritPodScene on Twitter to find out more.